this is I want to do this video, but I feel like it's a good time to do it because I feel like there was a time, and I don't really want to get into it too much, but a while back, and I was like, I think it's good to have like my political beliefs just out there with me, so then people understand where I'm coming from and not to, talk to me about certain things at least. Or not talk to me, but expect me to respond the way that I was made to respond, basically. So, like I noticed, because we're black people, a lot of people assume that we're liberals. Um Personally for me, I'm not liberal and I'm not I was raised in a very conservative household. Um, my mother is extremely conservative, like extremely, in a really, yeah. People like when they get to know me, they tend to think I'm really conservative because I'm extremely pro-life. Like I'm very pro-life. I have, I have a different belief. Like, I don't believe in exceptions when it comes to abortion, really, at all. I really don't. I just don't believe in exceptions. I don't believe exception for rape, incest, life is a little different. I'm not like my mother. My mother's really strict. Like, she thinks it should be like a criminal offense or something. I generally don't, especially not in that case. Um, And, you know, one issue that I'm not very, I guess, conservative on would be gay marriage and suicide. I think that people should have a right to end their life if they want to. I also have like a bit of a libertarian view on some issues like that, and with marriage, I'm very libertarian. With LGBT issues, honestly, I am very libertarian. That's why I believe in like religious rights um, for people when it comes to LGBT people. I think they should have the right to refuse. I also, I'm not really a big fan of the whole thing with bathrooms. I think that women should go to the bathroom only. Maybe sometimes I do like I with LGBT issues, I know so much about LGBT issues. Like seriously, I know a lot about them, and then I also know more than just LGBT people. Also, like people who are intersex, for example. I think there should be an exception for them, but you know what I'm saying. Generally, when it comes to like biological sex, if you are just male or female in sex, I am very, conservative in that view. And the reason why is not because I think negatively of transgender people. It's more so I just think that there's a lot of safety issues. And think of it this way. I really think that there's a lot of men who could share our bathrooms. I do. I think that there are many men that aren't animals, won't take advantage of women, and will actually use the bathroom when they are in the bathroom. They won't annoy or bother or cause any harm to a woman in the bathroom. There are some men out there that aren't monsters. And the thing is that there's enough men who will use their capabilities against a woman to make that environment not safe. Now, you could extrapolate that to the transgender population. For example, trans women take example, Jazz Jennings. I love to use her as an example because everybody's like, oh, she looks female and everything. And she, she is a woman, she identifies as a woman. I don't mind saying that she's a woman. The thing is that, you know, I think that if you have physical advantage over a female, then you have the ability. Now, someone could say trans women don't have, they don't have the desire to go after women like that. That's with the assumption people make about trans women. There's this whole assumption about trans women that they are basically like effeminate gay men. They're not. They're not just attracted to men. Most of the time, trans women are attracted to women, which, I mean, you have to notice that. I'm not saying that that means anything, but you have to notice most women are not attracted to women. Most women who are women, born female, are not attracted to women, but trans women, most of the time, are either lesbian or bisexual. They're not straight. I know people get so confused because, like I said, people often associate trans women with attraction towards men because it's the association with gay men, when trans women aren't gay men. So, the thing is, obviously, in the case of Jazz Jennings, she's a perfect example because she is attracted to women. She has physical abilities above a female. And I will point that out. People will say because she went through puberty that she is not, she did not have the same strength a man does. I'm not saying she's a big burly man. I didn't say that she went through a male puberty. I didn't say anything of that nature. What I am saying is that she has more physical ability than a woman who's born female does because we already know people who are biologically male before puberty have bigger bones than people who are born with a female biological sex. So obviously, she was born with a biological sex of a male, pre puberty, still has more strength than a woman who was born biologically female because her bone structure is going to be bigger. So she has an advantage over women. She has the impetus to act on it if she so chooses to act on it. Now, I'm not saying that she will act on it. There's a lot of men also who would not act on it, just like there's a lot of trans women who would not act on it. The thing is that they have in common, the men and the trans women, is this: they both like women on average. Obviously, most men like women, but there are some men who are gay, but we're not going to go off of men who are gay. We're not going to go off of the minority of trans women who are attracted to men. And I will put the study down below because I think a lot of people will question, oh, trans women are, they often think that they're attracted to men only. They're not. Um, but the point is, they have that in common, the attraction to women. And then on top of it, they have the whole thing of strength over women that puts them at an advantage over a woman. So they both have those two things in common. I'm not saying that that means that a trans woman is a man. I'm not saying that trans women are bad. I'm not saying that men are bad. What I'm saying is that they both have the ability to take advantage of a woman in a situation like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that a woman like Jazz Jennings is a bad woman. I'm not saying that they are predators. I'm saying that what we're relying on with a man, if a man was in our bathroom is somebody who would basically have to have restraint not to do that, or be a normal human being who isn't a predator, basically. But the thing is, humans are not all made the same. Some humans are predators. Some humans are good people who have no desire to take advantage of unwilling participants. So, we can't just say, oh, well, because most men wouldn't do this, we'll just let them all in the bathroom. It's just the same as trans women. Most trans women would not do this because most people aren't that twisted and fucked up, basically. But we still don't let them in the bathroom because there's more of a danger with those type of people, with men, I'm saying, and that there's more danger with someone who has biological ability to overcome a woman and has the desire to do so. So now they're just basically relying on their brain, on whether their brain is demented enough to do it or not. They shouldn't be going off of people's decency and morals. That's not how society works. So that's why for me, that's why for certain situations, I'm not very libertarian. I guess you could say I'm more conservative on that issue. And, but I still think, that, gay, lesbian, transgender, they should all marry. They should all be able to, um, do whatever they want with their bodies, I've always been, a big proponent of, that. Trans women, trans men, especially since many of them want to kill themselves if they don't. So, I mean, why would someone want someone to live a life that they're most likely going to kill themselves as? That means you have some real big hate against them. So, I don't have any hate towards transgender people. I really don't. And I, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that issue right there. Um, Also, some other issues. For example, um, like I said, I'm very pro. I'm for suicide, to be assisted suicide is what I'm trying to say, basically. Things of that nature, those are fine to me because I think people should have a right to go when they want to and leave and stay when they want to because it's their life. To me, I'm like, if it's their body, their life, their choice. Those kind of things I just don't really care about, really. Um, but um, some things I'm more conservative on is death penalty. I'm very conservative on the death penalty. And people always think that that's a little weird because, I'm pro life. But the way I see it is if you take someone's life, to me, I don't think you earned the right to live because you took someone's right to live, so now you get to get your rights taken because you took someone else's right. Get what I'm saying? So it's just to me, I believe in the eye for eye thing. That's just how I see it. And the reason I see it that way is because, if you look at the situation with the prisons, overcrowding and things like that, if you transferred every person who actually was convicted of murder to a death penalty and, you know, change their sentence to a death penalty and put them to sleep in 2 years, we'd have a lot more space. We'd have a lot less money we put into prisons. And we'd have more of a deterrent because less people would be likely to be committing murder. And if they did, they would really mean it because they know they're going down. So, I don't know. It'd probably be a double edged sword there. But anyway, to me, that's why I kind of believe in the death penalty. I believe in harsh prison sentences. I do. I don't have any sympathy for people who do drugs. I really don't. It's just no sympathy there. I think honestly, if we had the death penalty, we'd have more prolonged prison sentences because you have, oh God, I am having a sinus issue. I'm so sorry, but this side of my nose is really blocked. But anyway, sorry. um, so back to what I was saying. But I think, like, with the whole issue with drugs and all those issues, like drug dealers and drug addicts, I don't believe that drug addicts are a part of like a disease or anything. I really don't. To me, I just think, you're breaking the law. You should be put away. And honestly, I think with drugs, I see it, I guess I'm a little biased because think of it this way. I grew up in my 20s. Well, not really growing up, but you know what I mean. I was struggling in my 20s. And I always thought, like, with whatever I was doing, if we didn't have the drug addicts around, like, I'd always feel like I would benefit. For example, like my old jobs that were really crappy. I would always think like that if they weren't around, I'd get more hours. Or, different benefits in different ways. If they were put in jail because they're breaking laws in the first place, then, I mean, I wouldn't, I would have a lot more wiggle room. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. I've just always thought that. Like, maybe I just have a very biased view of them because, when you are of a poor um, background, I was in my 20s, like I said, I was kind of on my poor end. I was in college, but I mean, like, I had this really crappy job, and like, everybody would fill out our like work schedule, and there were so many fucked up individuals. On top, like, supervisors were fucked up, and then people like who are like my like coworkers or whatever were really fucked up. And so to me it was always like if we didn't have you around, they'd have so many more hours. We'd probably have pay raises, we'd have so much more. So, I mean, I guess maybe I should really talk about that issue because I'm really biased on that issue. But yeah, generally with the penal system, I'm just really tough on it, basically. Really conservative. Immigration, I'm very conservative on to a very extreme amount, but not like legal immigration. I'm kind of like, some people blame legal immigrants, and I'm like, I don't blame legal immigrants for being here. I don't. The way I see it is this: if we let them in, our country let them in, then it's our fault for whatever they become. Like, if they're a failure on welfare, like, I mean, that's not their fault. They asked to come, we allowed them to come. There's nothing wrong with the situation to me in regard to what they've done. They were who they were going to be. And our country should have seen that beforehand, and if they don't, well, then that's their fault, basically. I do have like I guess a slightly more extreme view when it comes to dreamers and children of illegal immigrants, the ones that are born here. To me, I think like citizenship should be for people who are like born to legal immigrants, legal I said immigrants, or like maybe like guest workers, someone who asks for some kind of um, way to come into this country legally, basically. So if they're here and they ask to be here and they're allowed to be here, whether it's through like a school visa or like a work visa or whatever, or guest worker or whatever, or a legal immigrant, I'm saying immigrant, then I'm okay with that. My thing is illegal immigrants who have children, I don't think that they are citizens. I don't really think that they should be classed as citizens or anything of that nature. So I guess you could say I just yeah, I just don't really agree with that. Now, I heard some people get all fussy over like legal immigrants having children and them being citizens. And it's like, to me, that's weird. Because I mean, like, where do you want them to be a citizen of? This is where they live. Like, to me, I think if they're supposed to be here and they live here and they have children, then the children should be citizens. Because, I mean, like, everything's legal. Like, to me, that's just weird. But I've seen that before where people had an issue with that. And that's just, yeah. But yeah, all in all, I know that my view to a lot of people is a lot more conservative, like, especially like with the dreamers. Like, I'm of a type with dreamers, I don't believe that they should have, like, I don't believe they should have um a way to stay here, but I don't think that they should not stay here either. So I just think that like I feel sorry for them. I feel like why do they have a situation, for example, if they are unaccompanied? It's like why do they have a situation where they don't have anyone who's like taking care of them and they just ended up in America? Like that is sad and concerning and more it's like well what is the climate in the places that you live because if there are more children like you and things of that nature like the problem doesn't get fixed by trying to take care of the ones that get here. What about the ones over there? That's my thing with them. It's just like I don't understand. Like people always are acting like these are the only children that are in a really bad situation where they came to this country unaccompanied. But something led to that basically situation. Where they were actually brought to this country unaccompanied. And having no one to take care of them, you know. And so the conditions of their country are more concerning to me than them actually being here. To me, I think that needs to be fixed. Um, I think that's all the political issues I care about. What about um I talked about obviously I don't believe in legalizing marijuana, but I thought that was kind of obvious with what I said earlier. Um I don't think there's really anything else I have to say. I just wanted to basically put a bunch of different things I have beliefs of as far as me being a conservative because I feel like I was talking about something and it seemed like they didn't realize I was a conservative, so I just want that out there so then people know, especially when it comes to abortion, because I am very strongly conservative on abortion, like extremely. Staunchly, there's no changing me, like on that. Life is how I see it. Um, so yeah, that's all I have to say. Oh, probably fiscally, I because I can care more about social issues if you didn't realize that. I do as far as fiscally, like I was like as a how I was taught to be was very ultra conservative across the board, but for me, the way I am in reality with fiscal issues, I am more of the mentality that I believe in a mix of the two. I'm not I'm not completely capitalist and I'm not completely socialist. I'm more like um a mixture kind of like I'm fiscally conservative, I would say, actually honestly, compared to what people talk about these days. The thing is, the way I've always seen like fiscal issues, especially when it comes to poverty and taxes and spending on anything. It's just like, to me, I always felt like, well, if we have a broken penal system and we have a broken immigration system, I don't really think we should be talking about spending on anything else, because we already have a lot of finances that we already have to attend to. Once we get all that down, then we can deal with other issues. That's how I see it. But I guess you could say that in general, I'm still mostly a capitalist, because, as in right now, I would say I would lean more capitalist than anything. Because I don't really believe in I don't really believe in being more I just don't really believe in many of the liberal systems of fiscal of their fiscal beliefs, basically, you know. So I mean, I do. That's the thing. I do, but I don't believe in it as in like currently right now. I kind of believe in it like in the future, if things were perfect, maybe, but not in the current situation that we have going on right now. Not with the debt that we have right now, basically. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do like a few more videos. All right, bye.